Hi, welcome back. I hope you like the new greeting. I wasn't really sure on the old one, so we're going with that one. Anyway, today we're doing these cake hearts and also matching Cakesicles. So this video is like a 2-for-1. So, don't say that I don't treat you, because, 2 for 1, baby, 2 for 1. These are a rose gold put on top of a normal taupe sort of blush colour. As always, it's Colour Mill colours. And I added this extra photo in because I think it's really, really nice. Don't forget to like and subscribe before we get into this. And I'm going to show you how I prep today. So I'm going to show you, look, no jewellery. I've took my rings off. You can see on my left hand where my wedding and engagement rings normally sit. My hand's marked. I took my Apple Watch off. Everything like that. If I'm doing orders for customers, I will always take all of that off. My nails are clean. If there's anything that looks like it's under my nails, it is food dye. Always food dye. So we're using 2 types of moulds today. We're using the Geo Cake Heart moulds and the normal Cakesicle moulds. I've linked both below for you. The Cakesicle moulds use the smaller sticks. As you can see here, that's a larger normal popsicle stick next to it, and they are much, much bigger. Some people use the full-size sticks in this mould. I think it looks terrible. Personally, it's a personal preference. I don't like it. I use my moulds complete. Some people cut them up. I think that's horrible. But hey, I might try it one day and I might be converted. So these are the Colour Mill colours that we're going to use. And spatulas soaking in hot water. Always remember to wipe them before you use them. My acrylic stick, which you can't get anywhere anymore, and I'm so sorry. Everybody asks me about it every video I post, and you can't get it anymore, but I will link a really, really similar one. Bench scraper. My old faithful, my husband made this for me, but I'll link a really, really similar one for you down below. I've got 4 of these. You can never go wrong. That's me demonstrating for you. I do this with no voiceover at the beginning, so I sort of run through what I'm going to say to you as I do it, so I can kind of gauge how long to do each section for. It's really sad. Because my kids are always running around in the background, or my husband comes in, or, I like to have the radio on, so I do voice it over after. And today I'm using cupcakes for the filling. Which will whiz up and I'll show you how to do later, just because I baked a batch of cupcakes at the same time, so it was handy to just bake a couple of extras. And a piping bag. I use disposables. I do reuse them, but I usually do use a fresh one for a video and use the reusables when I'm just making stuff for us. So I wipe my Cakesicle moulds out before I use them. I'm using a clear alcohol here. If you want to keep it alcohol free, you can use lemon essence, lemon juice, not lemon essence, lemon juice. Or vinegar. Just make sure it evaporates off before you use it. You can go over it again with a clean one afterwards if you want to. I use the alcohol because it evaporates off quicker, and because I've got copious amounts of it because I've got 2 kids and a husband. So that's me. You do you, and we're all good. So we've got some candy melts melted in a bowl here. I did get questioned over why I don't just use white chocolate recently. It is because I don't like tempering. And I'm not going to hide the fact that I don't like tempering. I'm not very good at it. I don't like it. So I don't want to do it. So I use candy melts because it's pre-tempered. Okay, you also don't have the yellow tones to deal with, so you get a truer colour, which I prefer. I also melt my chocolate on a double boiler. So that is a saucepan on the stove or hob, depends where you're from. With a small amount of water that shouldn't be touching the bottom of your bowl. You suspend a bowl on top, needs to be glass or metal. Obviously plastic will melt, and you pop your bowl on, make sure the water's not touching, and simmer the water, guys. Don't burn it. Don't rush. Do not rush. I like to do it like that because my chocolate stays melted for longer. I'm adding a little bit of baby pink in there as well, just to give it an extra pink oomph. Because the blush you do need quite a bit of it, whereas the pink just gives me that extra touch of pink. I use so much of the baby pink Colour Mill, guys. It's ridiculous. I really need to start buying the bigger bottles. I just feel like, I don't know, the little ones are only like £5 or £6 British. The big ones are maybe 15, 16, and I'm like, but I can buy 3 of the little ones and get a little different colours, whereas if I buy the big ones, I only get 1, and yeah, I'm just being ridiculous, and I should really invest in the big ones, especially the ones that I use a lot. If you want a more vintagey looking, less sharp colour, you can also add a little bit of Colour Mill caramel in. I do that sometimes. I didn't do that with this set, didn't feel it necessary. But yeah, the bowl stays hot because I use a double boiler or warm, and I just pop it on a silicone mat on my desk so that it doesn't damage my desk. You can obviously use microwave or microwave, as Nigel likes to say, if you want to. I'm doing the Cakesicles first. They are little doubles. They are. But I'm going to do 4. I only actually needed 3 for the set. But I always like to make at least 1 extra, sometimes more, because the kids and the husband love them. I don't eat them, I'm gluten-free. Yep, ridiculous for a baker, I know. But yeah, I can't eat wheat and stuff like that. So yeah, we're smoothing the chocolate around the moulds with our acrylic stick. Again, I'm so sorry, but I will link a really similar one down below. I really should buy a different one and use it so that I don't use this on film, because honestly, it's the most asked question. It really is. And then I'm just going to pop that to one side. It's just so handy to smooth around. If you use a brush or a spatula inside the mould, I'm just using that to clean up the edges there. It jabs it. And I also put my sticks in while it's wet. Some bakers pop them in when it's dry. I personally think that is risking cracking the chocolate. So I do put them in while they're wet, and I balance a knife across the top, a nice flat knife, there you go, because that stops the sticks bending inwards. I don't like the look, it's personal preference, I don't like the look of the sticks when they're bent inwards, and also stops you risking catching them when you're trying to bend them straight, etc. So I'm using a spare popsicle stick to smooth some more chocolate around that stick to secure it in place and make sure it's not going anywhere. That's an optional. I find it's much better. It gives it much more strength and sturdiness. Obviously, you don't have to, but that's my personal preference. So do all 4 of them. Like I say, I only needed 3, but did 4 to make sure if I had any whoopsies that I had an extra one. I have had Cakesicles snap in half on me as I've took them out the mould. It does happen. So I haven't put them into the fridge yet. I was going to do them all together. So I'm going to do 4 cake hearts now as well. Again, I only need 3. This was a little treat box that I did that had 3 Cakesicles, 3 cake hearts in it. And some marshmallows, and I'm going to show you how I boxed it up at the end as well, how I presented it, because guys, I think presentation is really important. So you know, I'm trying to up my presentation game this year. That's my aim. My 2021 goal was to build my YouTube channel and to up my presentation and reach out to those, my ideal client, as you would call it. So again, we've popped some chocolate into the moulds and we're using our stick to smooth it around. Again, you can use a brush, you can use a spatula. I do think the ball tool is just the way to go. My personal preference. Smoothing off those tops so that we get nice neat edges. Some people don't, I like to. It is personal preference, but this is the way I do it. You're on my channel now, so you're doing it my way. We're popping those in the fridge for 5 to 10 minutes. Don't leave them in any longer because it could cause chocolate to bloom. It could also make them sweat when you take them out. So I'm going to whiz my cupcakes up now. These were the reject cupcakes. You can see they're not that deep. In my food processor, you can do this by hand. You won't get it as fine or smooth, or you can do it in your stand mixer as well. That works really well if they're still warm. These were from the day before, I believe. So popping them in the food processor and whizzing them, it literally takes a couple of minutes. Sorry if you heard that then. That was my echo going off in the background. So here's my cake crumbs, lovely and fine. Look how fine they are. I am putting gloves on now for this process because it's messy, not because for food safety. And I am using a ganache here to mix the cake crumbs, so that gives you a beautiful fudgy consistency. I do like the way it goes with ganache. You can use different fillings. Please experiment. Let me know how you get on. Brownies are a really nice filling and you don't need anything to bring those together. You can use mousse and obviously set it in the mould and then demold it and cover it by dripping the chocolate over or doing a glaze. The options are endless, and I will post some ideas below for you. So we're mixing this together and we get to a point sort of here where it looks a bit crummy and you think, oh, I really should probably add a little bit more. Don't add any more. It will come together, and you don't want a texture that's too greasy because it won't be very nice for them to eat. So you're pushing those crumbs into it. You can see how it's fudgy and beautiful, and I want to stick it in my face, but I can't because it'll make me really poorly. So we're back to the mould, sorry, and I am on my Cakesicles only, not on the cake hearts. I do run an extra layer of chocolate around the edges, not around the bottom, but just around the edges, just to be sure that they are thick enough and they're not going to crack, because these can be fickle little beasts. And sometimes I had one where I was doing quite a lot for a special time of year. I think it might have been Halloween one year, and I broke probably as many as I got out, and I ended up having to make more because I didn't have enough spare, and I was getting so stressed. So, you know, it's just about learning those lessons over time and really learning from mistakes and realizing, and you know, sometimes the way I do it might not work for you. It might not work for your products, but you can take how I do it and run with it and create your own little processes and things like that. And that's what I'd like to hope you go away from. I mean, obviously, if my technique works for you, please let me know in the comments, you know, and share my videos and all that kind of thing, because it really does help a small channel. But if you take away from it what you do and then you adapt it for how you work or how you like to do things or what works for you, then that's fantastic. And I appreciate that you watched, and the extra view that you got me, or the like that you dropped, or the subscribe for the next video. I really do appreciate that. So hopefully, like I say, my videos help. Well, they help more than they hinder. And hopefully you don't mind listening to me ramble, because sometimes, guys, I do ramble and I'm really sorry. In fact, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm a millennial, that's our saying. So yeah, I'm going to pop these back in the fridge for 5 minutes. Sometimes the chocolate does set on its own because they are already cold, but I did pop them back in the fridge. So now we're filling them, and we want to make sure that we're putting it in gently enough that we're not cracking the chocolate. Now that looks like quite a rough movement, I promise it's not. I'm using the heel, as you would call it, the heel of my palm, to just use the shape to push it in, but I'm not being forceful in that movement at all. I am easing it and teasing it and encouraging it to just go in the correct places. And we want to make sure that the chocolate that we're going to put on the top to seal the backs has got room. So we're going to leave 1 to 2 millimeters spare at the top there, so that it does have plenty of space and we don't get rough backs. I've had comments before, oh, you know, how do I not get rough backs? Put less filling in. That is simple, and that's the simple answer. Make a neat job of putting your fillings in, and don't fill them too high. Don't overfill them. You're not trying to bring it up to the rim. I was going to say rim it. Please don't rim it. No. So yeah, don't bring it up too high, and make sure that it's nice and neat. And we will get lovely, neat, pretty backs that no one's ever going to care about or see. So, you know, potato. Doesn't matter too much. Neat backs come in time. If you are a beginner, then don't worry about it too much. There are some of the videos that you might find a little bit easier than this one. I uploaded an easy cake hearts tutorial the other day, and it also shows you how to make your own mix of sprinkles if you need a different colour. So we're using the same chocolate again to pop the backs on, smoothing it around the mould, not worrying too much about massive neatness around the edge of the mould. Some people sort of tease it into the corners and try to get it really neat. It doesn't matter too much. You can just break it off once it's dry. Dry? Set. The chocolate doesn't dry. I'm sorry. I don't know what I've been drinking today. Too much caffeine, maybe. But we're smoothing it out. You probably can't keep this chocolate at the end because it does get a few cake crumbs in it. But anything left over that I don't use, I do pop on a greaseproof sheet of paper and then break it up and put it in a little zippy bag for next time, or for when I need that colour, or when I'm doing a video just to make a video, etc. I probably wouldn't use it for a client. So now we're filling the Cakesicles moulds. Similar technique, but we have to be so much more gentle with these because those sticks are a little beast. They are not a happy bunny if they're pushed on. So we sort of tease the filling around them. We support the stick while we're doing it. And see there, look, finger on the stick so that we're not pushing down or putting any pressure, or especially once we're on the mould and we're pushing on the mould to make sure that we're getting the crevices. We don't want to be pushing that stick down because you'll crack the chocolate. Some cakers I've seen pull them out, fill it and then push it back in. I don't do that because I think it weakens the joint where the stick is inserted into the cakesicle and can cause it to be a bit messy. And I'm a neat freak and I like it to be nice and neat, so I don't do that. Personal preference again, I'm sure others have success with that technique and like that technique, and like I say, it's personal preference, and if that works for you, then great. If you want to try it that way, don't seal the stick in with the extra bit of chocolate like I showed you at the beginning, because that will cause it to crack. You definitely won't get it, you won't be able to pull that stick back out neatly with doing it that way. So yeah, I'm going to show you how high I filled it, so you can see there is some gap when I hold still. I'm getting mad at myself now. There is a bit of a gap there for the chocolate to sit in. So again, we're just spreading that chocolate across the top and getting our warm spatula. Remember guys, warm tools, not hot, just warm. Warm tools, because we're working with the chocolate, and if you're using a cold tool on the chocolate, you will get like a crackly look on the top, because the chocolate that comes in contact with the cold tool before the tool warms through from the heat of the chocolate will start to set, even if it's just minutely. And here is where the bench scraper comes in. It does just come in for the backs of these just to make it nice and neat. And then I go over it again just to get it extra neat. And then we pop them in the fridge for 5 to 10 minutes. Just check that the backs have set before you start to pull the moulds away. So we're loosening around the edges before we try and push them out. You can try and push them out straight away if you want to. You will sometimes crack them. It is much easier to crack that way. So I'm trying not to touch the surface too much, because look at that beautiful shine. And yeah, we had a little teeny mishap just on that one. There you go, pointing it out, showing you my fault. Sometimes it happens, like I say, that's why I make an extra. So don't worry, the rest came out absolutely fine. Spoiler alert. But yeah, we've got beautiful, beautiful shiny, and that is another reason we clean the moulds first. Now these ones you've got to be so careful with. So like you can see, I'm really being, even on video, you can see it looks gentle. I'm teasing the mould away from the sides, and you'll sort of hear it not crack, but you'll hear it pull away. And you've got to make sure you've got it all the way around, and then I am pushing the mould away from the cakesicle rather than pulling the cakesicle away from the mould. I really hope that this is helpful. Please let me know if it's not, or please let me know if it is. But you can see they're nice and neat and pretty. And like you see, you've got that little bit of extra lip. You can just wipe that off. Again, I don't wear gloves for anything other than messy jobs, because as far as environmental standards are concerned and environmental health, which is who we have check our kitchens in the UK, it is much more safe to have clean hands than it is to wear gloves. So that's why I don't wear gloves, other than to protect from the messiness. Now I'm going to apologise in advance for this next bit, because I don't know where I was looking, but it wasn't through the lens. So you can see I'm wrapping cling film, or saran wrap as you call it in the States. I know quite a lot of my followers are stateside. Hey, look at me being all cool. So I wrapped it in sort of a crossways, horizontal angle across, and then I wrapped it around the stick as well, to protect the stick, because you will end up with it all over the stick otherwise. And then I'm dabbing on dry dust. There's no wetness involved here. I'm not painting it on. So yeah, just dry dusting it on. You do have to do quite a few layers, and you get this beautiful rose gold look. I will link a nice rose gold powder for you in the description below. Everything that I've used, or something very close to, if I can't no longer get that product, will be linked below for you, including the moulds, etc. So you can buy everything that you need. So yeah, I did this for all of them. I think I only kept this one bit because this was the only one where I managed to get it anywhere near in the frame, because I'm a donut. I don't know what I was doing. Probably kids. I'm going to blame the kids. I'm just going to blame the kids, because they can't tell you otherwise. So then we unwrap it, and you can see them at the top across there. So I'm just going to decorate the cake hearts now. So we are using a mix of Luster Dust, the same one we used to dry brush, and Rejuvenator, again link below for you. I prefer not to use a ready-made paint, because you don't have control over the consistency, and when you're doing this you want quite a thick consistency, whereas if you're doing like painting into a stamp or something like that, you need a thinner consistency so that it spreads. I wanted to get quite a heavy splatter on these, and I'm just using a 0 brush. Again, I'll link one below for you. But I love how the rose gold really goes beautifully with the blush on these. And there you can see, again, try not to touch it too much, always holding it from underneath where possible, because they will get marks on. So now I'm using the same blush coloured chocolate and doing one at a time because it does set really, really quickly. And I'm using a sprinkle mix from Happy Sprinkles. Again, I'll try and link it below for you. If I can't link it, if they don't have it on Amazon, I will put the name of the mix on it for you. I have also got my own homemade rose gold sprinkles there. If you don't know how to make your own, then you can pop onto one of my videos. It's the last one I uploaded before this, and it's the easy cake hearts for beginners, and about halfway through that video it shows you how to make your own sprinkles if you need a specific colour, or if you need a specific style of sprinkle in a specific colour. It will show you how you can make your own with relatively easily and quickly with products, if you're a cake maker, that you've probably already got in, and if not and you're just starting out, etc., then they're probably products that you should get in, because they are very useful, and I do use them a lot. So yeah, the mix is Happy Sprinkles, but the rose gold balls I did make myself. So again, see that video just before this and it will show you. Also, you can round down by cake hearts in my playlists as well, and it'll be there. There's only maybe 10 or 12 videos on cake hearts. I do try to upload twice a week, normally a Wednesday and a Sunday. I have had about a month off because the kids were driving me nuts and I just couldn't work with them around. But they have gone back to school. Woohoo! All my UK parents. Woohoo! So we are finishing the decoration on the Cakesicles now. Piping one at a time across that line. And then you can see that mix there. That's the Happy Sprinkles mix. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. So again, like I say, I'll either link or provide the name of it down below if you want to use the same one. I thought the oranges in this really set it off quite nicely with the other colours. And again, they are my own handmade balls. Can I say that? They're my own handmade balls. So yeah, there we go. That is a beautiful, shiny, sprinkly Cakesicle. Oh, I loved these. I loved this set. I thought they were so pretty together. Really, really enjoyed making this set, and the design was mostly left up to me, which is lovely when a client trusts you to create their vision. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It's sometimes a bit, as an artist, I am an artist, don't argue with me, I am an artist. You feel a bit stifled when you get sent a picture or an idea and they're like, I want it exactly like this, no changes, and you're just like, yeah, okay. Or they send you one that you've done before and they want it exactly the same. And I know about other people, maybe some people like to switch off and just do the same design over and over, but I'm not that type of person. I like to differ it up each time, so I'll try and make suggestions for, well, you know, what type of event are you having, what type of person are they for? You know, back when we could have events. What's that? What is an event? Who knows? But hey, hopefully soon, guys. June 21st, woohoo! So yeah, hopefully you can get your client to let you have a little bit of artistic freedom and say over the design, because at the end of the day, the whole point of coming to somebody that provides custom treats and such is that it can all be customized and it can all be personalized to that person's favorite color or their flavor, their style, their flair, their personality. That's the whole point of having it not done from a supermarket, as well as the fact that it's always scratch made, etc. I do always use scratch made products, but obviously with that, apart from the tempering, we don't temper here. I'm sorry, we just don't. Pure chocolate people, just go away, don't listen. So yeah, all done. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry about my rambling. Here is the finished product. Go follow me on Instagram and TikTok and all the other platforms for more. I love that photo. I use a DSLR for my pictures, by the way. I have been asked about that before. And here is the picture coming up of how I boxed them. So I get these beaut boxes with clear lids and I just think it looks so pretty. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and I'll see you again soon.